Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, Default Thinking, right out here in my lab. And I'm in the book. Oh, I'm deep in the book. We on the rabbit hole of Amun, but it's all about the Trinity. We're going to do the principle of duality and the Trinity of creation, aka Amun Rapata. Let's go. Radisms, 25 rules live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life, movement to and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do for you. It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do. For you, I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. My thinkers know thyself and to might not be true. We're going to get into this right quick. The principle of pre-funk philosophy on the principles of duality and the trinity of creation. But my thing was, Amun Ra Pata, the trinity of creation. Let's talk about it. As we discussed earlier, I've been doing the same trick. I'm just going back to back, just picking up where I left off. As we discussed earlier in commentary 7, time and space are not real. They are in reality projections of the mind and through the Trinity, which is a metaphor for what? To explain the triad of consciousness, the three levels, as previously discussed. However, it must be clearly understood that the entire creation, that is every element in the triad of what? The seer, that represents Amun. Seen, that represents Ptah. For this particular angle, they're going to use Ptah as the seen. I would use Ra. But here, Ra is used as the sight in the mind. So that's pretty much Tahuti. But they got it all laid out. But these all states of consciousness and are in reality projections or emanations of the transcendental self that we call Nabercha. Okay, the all, the self. This projection, watch this, pay attention, this way it gets tricky. This projection is at all times existing and is supported by the self. Why? It has no independent reality or existence. Just as the projections of a dream when you go to sleep, your world in each human mind is supported by that individual. Again, we all have our own thinking process mechanism. And the projection of the universe is what? Is supported by the cosmic mind of God. We're in his world. Thus, the world, okay, principle of duality, the world expresses as, a triad, which is the self or spirit mind, which is Ra. Self, Amun, spirit mind is Ra. In creation, physical, manifested, that's Ptah. But which is all a product of the underlying principle of duality, but the self and creation and multiplicity of other objects makes it Trinity. It shows you right here. How about this right here? There's a picture going to show you with self and creation. That's Maya. Okay, duality. You can't have one without the other. But now the Trinity of creation, Amun, Ra, Pata. See how they go together? It's right here in the book. Down here. Okay. But I just I put my little hat on, I can make an example. And this is the lodge of perfection. The concept is a man who stands straight on his two and it narrows out will never fall. So the pyramid concept is unmovable. That's why they use it. Alright? But it's symbolical of the man standing on his own 2 feet, spread out, equal business. It's hard to knock him off his balance. So alright, let's go. Divine consciousness, which is what we call divine will, originates in the transcendental realms of what we call higher self, aka heaven, or better known as Amun, the hidden one. That's heaven. When you get to him, you reached it. And it's symbolized in Thebes because it was transmitted through a bright intellect, the light of consciousness, aka the sun, symbolized by Anu, and then it is transmitted again through the faculty of mental concepts, symbolized by Tahuti, to the mind senses. That's the body. That's Pata. And any questions or conflict are to be resolved. It's called by Menab. That's in one's heart of hearts. And the soul is symbolized by Thebes, where Amun, aka the hidden one, the essence resides, and not in the mind, which is governed by what? The body senses and the physical desires and ego ignorance. Thus, your spirit, God manifests in 3 forms, again, of consciousness. And this is true even in the human consciousness. God made in his image. We have the 3 states of consciousness, just like God do. Watch this. And human consciousness, or the individual human being, as well as what we know to be the cosmic or cosmic self. We see you pointing up. That's God. Okay? So, in other words, the same spirit, you telling me the same spirit that underlies all human beings is the same spirit which underlies the entire universe? That's what you telling me. Yep. That's what I'm telling you. Okay? And every human being has 3 subject or identifications that they have to master, so to speak. And while awake, you identify, watch this, with the waking state, day-to-day subject, or the person who you think you are, including your memories of your present lifetime, while having a dream. Watch this. You now identify with what? Your sleep subject. We all lay down and go and rest and let our mind go do what it does. Okay? So, or in what we call your personality, who is having the experience in what? In your dream. So now the Native Americans say the dream state, that world is the real world. I tell you, we practicing for death. They're saying that when you go into a deep sleep state, that's with death. You ain't got to wake up. You get there, you can stay there forever. That's what you want. All right? But while in the dreamless, I just told you, the dreamless sleep state, why? You identify with the absence of everything. And watch this. So there is existence, yeah, it's existence, but not awareness. You are just spirit. And you're blanketed by dullness, which is ignorance. Wumat, Hotep, Ab. Nevertheless, there is existence. And in this state, because when you wake up from going to that deep sleep state, all you remember is that you experience deep rest. So refreshing, but you have no specific memory of it as if it was a dream. No, it was just you in that state. See, we've all been there, and that's human. It's nature. The question is, the object is to master that state. And we start out with Pata. That's the awakening physical subject consciousness. Right now, the state of mind we in right now. So we using our mind and our organs. We in harmony with one another. Whoa, conscious. Okay, that's Pata. Ra is our intellect. When we lay down and go to sleep, we're going into the astral plane where it's all mental. That's where Ra and the mind senses take over. Okay, the sunlight is inside of intellect. That's the subtle sense. And when we go there, that's fine. The third level, Amun, of consciousness, is that deep unconsciousness. Why? Because that's the witnesses, and that's when you go deep sleep subject. That's where you go, and you don't remember, but you know you went there. See, they're telling you it is existing, but you just don't remember. So, Ptah Panetter, aka Nebuchadnezzar, we call him pure consciousness. The spirit is of God. The conscious is pure, again, of God. When you put your heart and your conscious mind together as one, that's becoming one with God. And you become what? Pure consciousness. You become one with the absolute self. You know all, you are all, you don't desire nothing, you don't want for nothing, and nothing can happen to you for the rest of your life. Eternity, immortality. But understand this, the same spirit that expresses as the waking subject, the conscious mind, the dream subject, and even the sleep subject, therefore that same spirit, that's what they call your thought process, Hermes Transfiguration, Tahuti, your mind is great on every level, from the physical to the astral to the casual, is conducting himself accordingly, hence thrice great. And when involved with subjectivity, manifest as the different levels of awareness of one's consciousness. You only can bring what you know. However, when not involved with subjectivity, now the spirit is free from all associations, egoistic personality of one's ego. Okay? Again, waking, dream, and sleep. So, from another perspective, the same spirit, the spirit in you, the pure self, Panetta Naberja, is what's in you, devoid of all subjectivity. Meditation, clear your mind, free your mind, your ass will follow, as George been telling us for 50 years. But you expresses as a what? Witnessing. And even in sleep consciousness, Amun. That dream consciousness, Ra, the thinking part, the waking and physical consciousness is Ptah. Amen, Ra, Ptah. Hidden, seen, and manifest. That's how they operate. That's the Trinity of creation. Amen, Ra, Ptah. The foundation is set. You can't break it. So these teachings, I got another page and a half of information. Stick with me. These teachings also relates to the kind of experience which a human being has, dependent on the manner in which the conscious is expressing. If you're ignorant, you're going to have rough times. If you're studying, learning, and practicing, it's going to smooth out for you. In this respect, there are three modes of experience. What you mean? You got the waking state, which right now, you're comfortable, you can know what's going on. Then when you lay down after a full day, you go to that dream state. That's the astral plane where the body don't go. Okay, now it's all mental. And the deep sleep state, that's all mental. It's all internal inside this, your mind. But in each of these, spirit identifies itself with each different subject. It goes with the flow, so to speak. So the waking subject experiences the gross physical objects and the conscious mind and the sense organs, meaning the physical body. You hear. See, I like to do it like this. You smell danger. Smell it, you see it, you hear it, you touch it, and if it's worthy, then you taste it. Those are the five senses that enlighten your brain to what's going on in the physical world. Okay? So, and the dream subject has experiences what we call the subtle mental world of thoughts. This is ideas, imaginations in the astral plane when you're dreaming. Okay, that's the next level. But with your mind and the subtle senses, The senses and the sense organs are what? Outward signs, aka physical body. When a person sleeps, the physical body is at rest. The subtle senses are now used in what we call the dream state instead of the physical sense bodies. Oh, you don't need the body. No, you're all up here now. But in actuality, your sense organs are in emanations of the senses, and the senses are emanations of one's mind. And the mind is, again, emanation of the consciousness. Thus, your mind, and every mind is different. Why? That's what he give you. Every individual mind is different. After you use it, it's no longer good for nobody else. So the mind and the physical objects of creation, as well as your senses, which are used to perceive those objects and the subjects who is said to experience the human concept, they are all just emanations from the one pure, undifferentiated consciousness that we know is God. Should be no mistakes. So, God dog it. So, this wisdom is what leads to you understanding that the multiplicity of creation, the triad of the consciousness, is in reality one all-encompassing existence, non-dual, and in fact is devoid of subjectivity and differentiation. It don't decide good, bad, right, wrong. There was none of that. It's just one singular. That's the one. That's the one. There ain't no duality yet. So the witnessing is the one. That's Amun. The witnessing subject, the dreamless sleep state, experiences the subtlest forms of awareness in the form of what? Intuition and insight, which transcends one mind and intellect for the individual. These states have positive and negative aspects in your own mind in life. So now you are most familiar with what? The waking subject and the gratification that comes with what? The contacting of physical objects of your desire, getting what you want in the physical world, new car, fancy house, bunch of money, good job. Okay, oh, that's fine, that's cool. But this is the negative aspect of the waking subject. I thought that was good. No, pay attention. So the positive aspect, here we go, is when you have experienced that spiritual awakening in the physical world, but without attaching or desires of the physical or material worlds. It's a spiritual mind thing. So when you yourself, they call it the mystical experience, the awakening. Everybody got a name for it. But when you, the individual, experience it for yourself, the joy and the understanding as what? Intellect. It all brings us to a place they call bliss or hotep. So some subjects you have difficulty with this what? And the experience at the level of the intellect. If you are egotistical, you ain't gonna be able to explain or deal with this concept because you won't reach it. The ego will prevent that. That's the problem. This is the positive aspect of what we call the dream subject. The negative aspect of the dream subject is when the egoistic mind is caught in the illusions of thinking wrong, that it presents situations and is abiding and impressing reality. They think what's going on is real. They think this is it, okay? But in a dream, as in waking life, the situations which occur take hold of the individual and it seems so compellingly real while you're involved. Yeah. However, no matter how real it seems, when you get scared or when situation, what you do? Wake up. So upon waking up from that dream, no matter how real it seems, you can get up out of it, okay, by waking up. And what's this? From the dream state, it's found to be unreal and similar when what? Before you go to sleep, what you did all day, now you about to go to sleep, that's about to become the subject, and that goes to what? When you go to sleep. The waking situation is found to be what? Unreal. Because now it's behind you. So therefore, if there is delusion and ignorance, that is if you yourself believe the situation that you're caught up in, your ignorance and you're delusional. This is the negative aspect of those people who are unenlightened. If you are rationalizing that your situations are an illusory and that you are not caught up in any of those situations, living in the world but not of it, then now your intellect has become lucid. You become conscious. This is the positive aspect when you have your own experience and feeling of joy and bliss, no matter no reason that you cannot really describe to rationalize it, but you experience it. That's God. When Aset wanted to get Ra's real name, he didn't verbally say it. He telepathically sent it to her, and she experienced it. That's how you have to have God in you, the same way. And it's teaching you that. So when you achieve, when you can't rationalize it, you can't describe it. Now, this is that level, watch this, of witnessing or anointing oneself, knowing, becoming one with God, which is beyond your intellect. And when you achieve this level of awareness, of infinite peace, hotep, bliss, supreme, infinite joy, infinite awareness, etc., through spiritual practice of the spiritual disciplines. This level of awareness is what we call the transcendental of all three relative states of consciousness. You mastered all three. You became Hermes Trismegistus. Thrice great. Let me finish it up with the concept of an enlightened sage experiences this transcendental level. That's what makes you a witness. That's what makes you a servant. Why? Because that experience right there will change your life. I got mine 16 years ago now. And as well as the relative levels from learning. However, the sage is never caught up in the delusional, ignorant causes by the ego, because a sage have discovered for him or herself and is constantly aware, I call it being God conscious, of what? His or her true identity. I'm just telling you, just as an ordinary person sees him or herself as a human being, I'm just a man, I'm just a woman, yeah. But with the definite history of what? Birth, family, and other relations, a sage sees that he or she, again, male or female, is a spirit to being having a human experience, and that the entire universe is your family. You're connected to all. Why? You're part of God. And become conscious of that, now you're God conscious. And a sage, a right thinker, master, do not hold on to any fanciful notions or expectations of anybody, because they know that the world of human experiences is full of what? Uncertainty and limitations. Once you get past those things, you don't give a crap about none of it. Why? You know it ain't about nothing. Okay? So they have already discovered themselves, and what is abiding and what's limitless. They have knowledge, self-knowledge. Eternal, immortal, they are pure and true within their own hearts, and thus they have no desires, pay attention, or needs for any worldly activity, be it male, female, or material, objects, or personalities, things, or even people. Yes. Thus, a sage, again, operates in the world without attachments. Some people think you cold and don't care. No, you just dealing without attachment to anything, or I don't have hindrances of any kind. So there is no experience of what? Freedom, or a sense that nothing is impossible. This is the kind of mindset which a spiritual aspirant, master oneself, needs to develop to master oneself. And when your spiritual mastery of this aspirant is struggling to maintain these ideas for him or herself, now they are considered to be striving. If you ain't there yet, you're striving. I'm traveling. I'm getting there. I'm on my route. Whatever. But that's letting you know you're aspiring. You're getting better. You're trying to improve yourself. That's the purpose. And that's what we call spiritual practice. What? Daily. Till you get good at it, till you master it. But when a spiritual aspirant masters and reaches their level of self-knowledge, aka nihas, where this form of consciousness is what? Spontaneous, instantly, and without effort. They are said to be enlightened sage. The sage is always in control of what? Their ego personality. Ding, 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 ding. If you let your ego run you, you can't be a sage. You can't be a saint. Why? The saints and sages have control over their egos. That's why. And if using it to what? Serve humanity in various ways. I'm here daily doing my job. The three levels of relative consciousness, waking, dream, and sleep, constitutes one's ego personality. The human being has to go through those phases of human being. But we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So we go past that. So in this sense, your cosmic ego is composed of Amun, Ra, Ptah. And the real self is Paneter, or the virtue. We know it as the absolute self. When you reach that level of connection, that's you becoming one with God. In the body sense organs, you start out with the soul. That's the unconscious ego self. That's you not knowing God, but you know yourself. And you believe you're God. That's the ego. You edge God out. When you get better, your subconscious takes you up to what? Studying and getting better, improving oneself. So now you have what? Intellect, knowledge of oneself. And that's becoming conscious, your conscious mind, and it dictates the senses of your actions, aka your body. The body and the sense organs will adhere and will follow what? The mind. As above, so below. That's the lesson, and I got to go. But I had fun. This is good. I'll be back with more. Oh, we're about to go deep into the circle of the three. We're still dealing with Trinity, still dealing with God. And this is what we're going to do. The circle right there, Pi Netta, then you got the three outer rings. I'll break that down for you in a minute. I'll be right back. Let's take a break, right thinkers, and close it. May you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I never in my right thinkers who now understand what we're doing this time. Oh, the principle of duality and the trinity of creation. Amun, Ra, Ptah, the trinity of creation has passed away. This is good stuff.